Existing investors, 8VC, Matrix Partners India and Nexus Venture Partners. The new funding will be used to accelerate Rocketlane AI roadmap.
Zyode, a tech-enabled fashion manufacturing platform, secures $18 million in its Series A round of funding led by RTP Global and also saw participation from existing investors, Lightspeed and Ulterior Capital, and new investors, Stride Ventures, Stride One and Trifecta Capital.
Fintech startup LXME raises seed funding of $1.2 million, led by Kalari Capital, with the aim of enabling women to be financially independent. Kalari has made the investment through its CXXO initiative, which invests in ventures led by women entrepreneurs.
Microsoft faces a hefty antitrust fine. European Commission accuses it of illegally linking its chat and video app Teams with its Office product, says Teams had been given a distribution advantage while limitations preventing interaction between Teams' competitors and Microsoft's offerings further hindered rivals.
Apple rejects overtures by Meta to integrate AI chatbot into the iPhone months ago. Bloomberg News reported that Apple was not actively planning on integrating Llama into iPhones because it does not consider Instagram owner Meta's privacy practices stringent enough.
Major record labels Sony Music, Universal Music Group and Warner Records sue artificial intelligence companies Suno and Udio, accuses them of committing mass copyright infringement by using the label's recordings to train music-generating AI systems. Well, those were the headlines we've been tracking for you this evening. B2B SaaS platform for client project delivery, Rocketlane, has raised $24 million in its Series B funding round, bringing the total funds raised to $45 million till date. The round was co-led by BBC, Matrix Partners, 8VC and Nexus Venture Partners. This latest round of funding comes at a time when the company still had $11 million in the bank and has tripled its revenue over the past year. To talk about Rocketlane's growth and future roadmap, joining me now is its co-founder and CEO, Srikrishnan Ganeshan. Srikrishnan, welcome to Startup Street. With this new funding, tell us what is the current valuation of Rocketlane, and also you plan to accelerate Rocketlane's AI roadmap with the fresh funds raised. Tell us how, elaborate on the features and capabilities of your platform that help enhance client project delivery.
Thank you so much for having me on today. Excited about our new fundraise. We're not revealing the valuation, but happy to chat about the roadmap here. And as you said, AI plays a big role in our future roadmap. We're bringing AI in 4 key areas across our product. One is the operational capabilities, right? So if you have to staff a project, how can we help you do it in an automated manner, find the right people to staff on every new project coming up based on how you want to optimize for margins or optimize for workload being balanced across your team. Then there is the area of project delivery. How can we help a project manager who is working on projects with clients do their job more efficiently, whether it is a handoff that needs to happen or a meeting note document, etc. So, and then governance and insights as well are 2 more areas where we're bringing in AI capabilities.
Okay. Rocketlane currently has over 500 customers, including enterprises that have switched to Rocketlane from legacy PSA tools. Srikrishnan, what is the kind of efficiency you bring in? Explain for a layman the pain point that you solve, and if you could give us a use case as well.
Sure. So if you think about how teams run projects with their clients, and how they need to manage their internal operations as well, there's 2 different sets of tools that they use for this. They may be using on the front end to collaborate with clients, a project management tool, something like Slack, document collaboration tools, etc., siloed tools across which your information, your statuses, everything gets spread out. And on the other hand, on the back end, you're using a PSA tool for tracking your time across different projects, invoicing the client, or managing your resources, tracking profitability on each project, etc. We bring all of it together so you have a deep understanding of how you're executing on each project.
Okay.
You're able to benchmark how much spend went into a project versus how much efforts how much progress you've made on that project, and so on. And for the clients, what we've done is built this branded customer portal that makes collaboration between the vendor and the client easy. And it brings in a new sense of accountability that accelerates all these projects. And that's where the true efficiency comes.
Okay, let's now quickly talk about your upcoming innovations. I believe in the works is a first of its kind client portal that will help you expand the gap between Rocketlane and competition. Elaborate on this offering and its USP.
Yeah, if you think about it, the front end for any services team today that's working on projects is, how you send your emails, where you craft your status updates, a presentation you make, and so on. We're changing the game over there. We're saying, hey, instead of manually crafting all of this, what if we give you a branded customer portal where the customer can follow where you are in the journey, do their approvals right there, sort of have this one-stop shop where all the documents, meeting notes, weekly updates that are published, emails, everything goes into that one experience. And that becomes the face of your project delivery.
Okay.
So that's the innovation over there.
All right. Let's quickly also talk about the India market. I believe about 18% of your clients are in India. So what kind of potential do you see going forward, and what are your India growth plans?
We all know that a lot of services businesses have large teams in India. So we are going to accelerate our push into India as a market as well with the new client portal and AI capabilities that we're launching. We believe there's huge potential across, if you think about marketing agencies, consulting firms, IT services firms, various kinds of system integrators who exist in the India market. All of them could be our clients.
Okay. Rocketlane has tripled its revenue over the past year. What is your top line currently, and what are the revenue and growth targets for the future, Sri Krishnan?
Yeah, we're not sharing specific revenue numbers, but we grew 3x for the last 2 years. The typical SaaS, mantra is triple, triple, double, double, double. But I think this year and next year, we will try to still do over 2x and be more aggressive in our growth.
Okay. We've discussed how Rocketlane's unified workspace helps improve communication, collaboration, and project visibility for businesses and their clients using artificial intelligence. But tell me, how ready are organizations to cater to this massive AI opportunity?
That's actually something that we are super excited about. I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done on the consulting front, on the services front, to make more organizations ready to utilize AI in their organizations. And what we provide is more out of the box, right? So these are co-pilot type capabilities for services teams, which will make it easy for them to do their job. And a lot of services teams that are going to be working on these AI-focused digital transformation projects are also going to use Rocketlane to do that work. That's something that really excites us about the size of the AI opportunity itself.
All right. On that note, it's time for me to wrap up our conversation. But Sri Krishnan, many thanks for joining us on Startup Street, and wish you the very best for all your aggressive growth targets.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Cloudphysician, which is a full-stack AI and operations company which partners with hospitals to manage patients in their ICU and emergency departments, has raised a total of $10.5 million in a Series A round led by Peak 15. The company says this fresh capital infusion will be used to propel its growth and operations within India and expand into multiple emerging markets and established markets like the US, as well as to further enhance its AI platform, Radar. Joining me now for more on the company's plans ahead and this funding is its co-founder and CEO, Dr. Dhruv Joshi. Dr. Joshi, thank you very much for your time here and welcome to Startup Street. Before we get to the funding, give us a brief about Cloudphysician. You've partnered with more than 200 hospitals across 23 states in India. What is the gap that you're looking to solve for and the purpose with which you started the company?
Thank you, Ritu. It's a pleasure to be here. And just a quick background, I am a doctor myself. I did my MBBS here in India, following which I moved to the United States, did my specialization, and then did my super specialization in ICU medicine. So I'm an ICU doctor, and I had seen ICU care both in India and in the US. And I realized after having seen it at both ends of the world that patients who get admitted to ICUs, unfortunately, very often get shortchanged either in terms of the quality of care or in terms of the cost of getting that quality of care to them. And it is ripe for a company like Cloudphysician to build a technology-enabled solution that would address this, that would solve these two problems for patients, make high-quality ICU care more affordable for patients, right? So that's what we're doing, and we're using technology to do that. Started by solving this problem statement in the US, but then realized that this was a massive need in India. And so came back along with my co-founder Dilip to start Cloudphysician in India in 2017. And we've been building the solution where we convert ICUs into smart ICUs and enable the patients who get admitted to these hospitals to get better quality care, better outcomes, and to be able to get discharged quicker and faster in a more cost-effective manner.
Okay, so how do you plan to deploy this $10.5 million that you've now raised? You want to grow and expand in India as well as markets abroad. What is the plan there?
Yeah, I think what we've raised will go towards three things: to further enhancing our AI platform Radar that enables doctors and nurses to be able to provide better quality care to their patients. That's one. Two is we're in about 200 odd hospitals across India. There are over 50,000 hospitals that need a solution like this. And so to scale this solution across hospitals in India. And three is that we're a first mover in this space. And the problem statement that we are solving is a global one for us to expand internationally, including to markets like the US, where both me and my co-founder have spent many years. So I think these will be the three areas that we'd like to focus on in the coming months.
Well, we understand that the funds are also going to be deployed towards enhancing your AI platform, Radar. Briefly, if you could tell us about that and the solution it is providing.
So what we are building at Cloudphysician is a co-pilot, right? So what we do is we deploy our technology solution in hospital ICUs. This includes real-time video feed, computer vision, digitizing the entire workflow of a ICU. Typically, if you've ever been to a hospital, you'd imagine seeing a lot of pen and paper, just moving all that over to a paperless solution and enabling the hospital to run in a streamlined manner. That's what Radar does. In addition to this, it allows super specialist doctors to actually be at the bedside of patients, even when they're not physically there, right? It allows them to see what's happening with patients, communicate with the nurses and other doctors, and even have multidisciplinary meetings with the team at the bedside, along with families of patients as well, and help those patients get the care that they need at the time that they need it.
Well, you claim that Cloudphysician is poised to capture 10% of India's market of more than 50,000 hospitals and establish its global presence in the coming years. How do you plan to go about this, and how many more hospitals are you targeting to partner with to achieve this?
I think healthcare as an entire industry is ripe for disruption at this point in time, and technology-enabled solutions are the only way in which we are going to enable that our entire population can get the care that they need. So while it is an ambitious task that we've cut out for ourselves, we believe with the right partners, with the right team, with the best talent that there is, right from clinical to technology talent, we are well suited and well primed to expand and address this market, not just in India but across the world.
Well, before we let you go, could you give us a sense of your business model and what your current financials look like, whether that's your revenue and if you're profitable?
We have been seeing pretty rapid growth, and we are on the path to profitability. I think we have a very sound economic model in which we partner with hospitals, enable them to further enhance their revenues just by being able to be more efficient, being able to provide better care to their patients, and being able to even take on more patients, which is what is needed today, right? The fact of the matter is that we live in a country where we have 1.5 billion people, and we don't have enough hospitals for them. And we need to ensure that hospitals can actually cater to a larger number of patients. And that's what we enable.
All right, no numbers there, but thanks nonetheless, Dr. Dhruv Joshi, for joining us here on Startup Street. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
On that note, it is time for a quick commercial break. But coming up, fashion brand The Pant Project added $4.25 million to their wallet. How will they utilize the funds and what is their revenue outlook? We tell you on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still with us on Startup Street. The Pant Project, a fashion brand specializing in custom-made and ready-to-wear pants, has raised $4.25 million in its maiden funding round, led by Soren Investments, an early-stage investment firm founded by former KKR India Chief Executive Sanjay Nair. The round also saw participation from MGA Ventures, Huddle, Dexter Ventures, and Indian Silicon Valley, as well as other angel investors. Joining me now to discuss this further is Dhruv Toshniwal, the founder and CEO of the Pant Project. Dhruv, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street. You know, for all of these years, you started in 2020, you've been a bootstrap company. So why the need to raise the funds now? Expanding your presence, obviously, is on top of the agenda. Can you elaborate on how you plan to spend the funds?
Yes, thanks for having me on the show. Started the company in October 2020 with my brother, Udit Toshniwal, and we've been bootstrapped for 4 years as a digital native brand. We've grown on our own website and on Myntra and Amazon. Now with this fundraise, we're really looking to grow our retail store presence. And we have 3 stores at the moment in Mumbai and Bangalore. With this fundraise, we're looking to open 25 to 30 stores across the country in the major cities in the next 3 years.
Right. So big plans are on the retail front. We're going to discuss that a little bit further. But before we get to that, you're making customized ready-to-wear pants, right? And, you know, the D2C area, especially the fashion, is quite a competitive space. So what's unique about what you have on offer? How are you taking on competition at this point?
Definitely. There's 2 ways we think about this. When we look at global brands as competition, we're really trying to distinguish on fit for the Indian body type. We've served over 1 lakh customers in India with custom fit pants, and we have data to be able to provide the best fitted pants now for the Indian male customer. When we look at local scaled up players, we think there's an opportunity here to build a brand that's got a digital native presence and that's appealing to the millennial customer with a sharp focus on bottom wear as a specialist in bottom wear. So we're really trying to be the one-stop shop for pants for all occasions, be it formal wear, be it chinos, be it jeans, cargos, shorts, joggers. And we really want to be the pant pros, the experts at what we do. That's how we've positioned ourselves and are differentiating ourselves.
Right. So you want to be the pant pro. You know, you said you're seeing 1 lakh, you've served 1 lakh customers. How many customers are you seeing, you know, on an average per month? What's the average ticket size of the purchases that you're seeing? And also, what's your top selling product? You know, what kind of insights are you getting from your customers? What's the learning here?
Definitely. We're seeing, 40 to 45% of our customers come back and repeat with us. So we have a strong repeat sales that shows that there's customer love. Our best-selling pants are our power stretch pants. These have heavy 4-way stretch, a flex tech, a waistband that's got, shirt gripper in it. We're really built around comfort and fit as the core of our brand. When we look at our customer base, it's well spread out across the country, 60% in tier 1 cities, 40% in tier 2 cities. We've got customers of all ages, right from their 20s through to the 60s, and we serve all occasions, right from formal wear to casual wear. So what we're trying to do is be the most comfortable pair of pants in our customers' wardrobe, and we've seen that customer love with the repeat rates that we're seeing on our brand.
All right, so lots of repeat rates there as well. But any new offerings in the pipeline? You know, I know you're called the Pant Pro Project, but would you look at expanding beyond pants in a few years? Any new verticals that, you might, move into?
I think for now, we see the pant market as a really large market in India, and we're excited to do pants for all occasions. So we're really expanding our offering in casual wear, our denims range, our athleisure range, and we see ourselves for the near term. We're doing 31 crores in revenue last financial year, planned to cross 100 crores in revenue in the next 18 to 24 months. We see pants as the roadmap to get there. I think in the long term, we'll be open to doing other products, but for now, the focus is on pants.
You know, you preempted my next question. I was going to actually ask you about your revenues, but since you've already told us that as well as your target, like you said earlier, you're a digitally native brand and, you're present across other websites as well. You've got the retail store expansion in place. So can you tell us a little bit about the revenue mix and, where do you hope to see the revenue mix be between offline and online in a year, let's say? What's the omni-channel strategy for you?
Right now, our revenue mix is 65% on our own D2C website, and we definitely want our own channels to be a healthy part of our revenue mix. Offline right now is a small part of our business with just 3 stores, but in the long term, we see offline as a growing part of our revenue mix, might be 30-40% of our revenues as time passes.
All right, 30 to 40% from offline. Well, Dhruv, thank you so much for joining us on the show today, but we're completely out of time, and we wish you all the best on this project of yours.
Thank you so much.
All right, moving on to a CNBC-TV18 exclusive. Pattern breakers are willing to explore unconventional approaches to fulfill their mission. That's the word coming in from Mike Maples Jr., the co-founding partner at Floodgate, speaking to Shireen Bhan on his new book, Pattern Breakers, Why Some Startups Change the Future. Set to release on July 9th, Maples added that there can't be a recipe for a breakthrough and startup capitalism is different since these companies are creating value by developing something new. Here's a slice of that conversation. Listen in.
I'd say that the Lyft guys, they had a startup called Zimride, and my colleague Ann had invested in Zimride, and they had a board meeting, and they were talking about launching the Lyft service, and we went through the pros and cons, and I guess the biggest con was it was illegal. And so we're like, okay, well, is it legally ambiguous or just straight up illegal? And they said, oh, no, we're pretty sure it's illegal, but we realized that we just needed to get the law changed. And so, because if you ask for permission, you're not going to get to launch it. And so you have to launch, and you have to have consumers fall in love with it.
And then push the boundaries.
And then push the boundaries. And so, part of pattern breaking is not just having the pattern breaking idea, but it's the willingness to engage in the pattern breaking actions, things that normal people wouldn't necessarily do, right? Brian Chesky funding Airbnb in the early days by selling cereal boxes because he couldn't raise money. Justin Kahn, before he started Justin TV, sold his prior company on eBay. And I remember thinking at the time, like, who does that? Most companies, they say, I want to get acquired by Google or Yahoo or Amazon or somebody like that, Flipkart, who goes and puts their company on eBay to sell it? But he did, and they sold it for $250,000 2 years out of college. And so that's the other part of these pattern breakers is their willingness to explore unconventional approaches to fulfill their mission.
This ability to anticipate change and anticipate the future and anticipate transformation, it's not a skill that we're taught.
That's right.
And it's hard to sort of have that.
That's right.
What do you think is the ability to have that kind of anticipation ability? What do you believe has resulted in that? In the startups that you worked with.
And it's also, right, you could argue it's a different kind of intelligence, right? So most of the time in life, we get rewarded for doing more of something. Like in school, we get rewarded if we answer the question the way the teacher wanted us to, because it's already been solved. And, that's true in lots of things in life, right? We try to find a recipe for something. But the weird thing about breakthroughs is they've never happened before. So there can't be a recipe for a breakthrough because, like, if you and I use the same recipe to make a cake, it's because somebody's figured out how to make that cake before, whereas breakthrough hasn't happened yet. And so breakthroughs happen by adopting the right mindset. And breakthroughs happen by saying, I'm going to pursue something that I'm incredibly interested in for its own sake. And by doing that, you open new fractals of knowledge, right? So like, when the Mosaic browser happened and the internet took off, Mark Andreessen was making minimum wage at the University of Illinois in a supercomputer lab. everybody thought the digital highway was going to be defined by Time Warner or by the US government or by world governments or by cable companies, telcos. And it's this kid who's making minimum wage who defines the future. And he wasn't saying, oh, I'm going to disrupt the digital superhighway. He probably didn't even know there was such a thing. He was just pursuing something he was wildly interested in for its own sake. And he opened new fractals of knowledge. And because he was at the edge of the technology, because he was getting his hands dirty and tinkering with it, he understood things and saw things before the rest of us did.
So in your words, the upstarts or the patent breakers, are they actually reclaiming capitalism from the capitalists? The capitalism that really, gave us what we have today?
Yeah, I love that thought. So I like to say that startup capitalism is a different kind of capitalism. That may be one of the most important takeaways that I started to see, was that if you run a big company, you think about value creation the way somebody like Warren Buffett does. I have some advantages. I want to compound those advantages. I want to create moats. I want to protect my core franchise. But a startup doesn't have a franchise. And so you start to realize that startup capitalism creates value in a totally different way. Rather than persistently compounding, a startup creates value by doing something totally new that's never happened before. And so the startup capitalist wins by changing the subject, not by compounding what's already happening. And so their weapons have to be different. They use different tools to create value than a big company uses. And so their job description is just completely different from what a normal business person has to do.
Do you believe that we're sitting on more stories like NVIDIA that are just waiting to sort of have their moment, have their breakout moment?
I do. So I've only seen 2 sea changes in my life. There's lots of inflections, lots of changes, but like when I was a kid, mass computation, personal computer, Moore's law, the cost of computing declining to zero. And companies like Microsoft emerged in that wave. And then you had the era of mass connectivity. And rather than Moore's law and transistors, it was about how many nodes are on your network and do they connect. Now I think we're entering the era of mass cognition. And I think that cognition and cognitive functions are going to become commoditized in the way that network nodes and bandwidth were, or transistors were.
And with that, it is a wrap on this edition of Startup Street. More news and updates coming up on the other side. From Shruti and me, goodbye and many thanks for watching.